All the drinks dismissed. They looked like a close-knit family, smiling, saving lives, and redefining television on MASH Star. But when the cameras stopped rolling, the truth was far more complicated. Power struggles, emotional exits, and years of silence painted a very different picture. And now, with the passing of Loretta Swit, the woman behind Major Margaret Houlihan, the silence is finally broken. What she revealed before her death changes everything you thought you knew about one of America's most beloved TV shows. Why did so many stars walk away? What really happened behind the scenes? And how did Swit become the beating heart of it all? Stay with us as we uncover the truth. Early life. Loretta kept quiet for nearly 5 decades. Before she became known to the world as Hot Lips Houlihan, Loretta Swit was simply a bright, ambitious young woman from Passaic, New Jersey. Born on November 4, 1937, to a hard-working Polish-American family, Loretta grew up with a natural flair for performance and leadership. At Pope Pius XII High School, she stood out not just as a student but as a cheerleader, co-captain of the basketball team, and a regular star in school plays. Her charisma and passion for the arts were evident early on, setting her apart even in her teenage years. After graduating in 1955, Loretta enrolled in the prestigious Catherine Gibbs School, where she honed her secretarial skills, an expected path for young women of the time. But her true calling couldn't be ignored. She began taking acting classes under the legendary Jean Frankel and later continued her dramatic education at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. These early years were critical, laying the foundation for what would become a groundbreaking career. By the late 1960s, Loretta was already earning recognition for her powerful stage work in off-Broadway productions like An Enemy of the People and The Balcony, known for their challenging political and emotional themes. Her talent soon crossed over to television with guest roles on hit shows like Hawaii Five-0, Gunsmoke, Mission, Impossible, and Bonanza. Audiences began to take notice, but it wasn't until 1972 that her true breakout arrived. MAS*H breakout. That year, Loretta was cast as Major Margaret Hot Lips Houlihan in the groundbreaking CBS series MASH Star. What began as a supporting role would soon evolve into one of the most iconic characters in television history, and Swit's life would never be the same again. When Loretta Swit was cast as Major Margaret Houlihan on MASH*, the character was originally designed to be little more than a comic foil, an uptight, rule-obsessed nurse whose strict demeanor made her the target of jokes from the show's male leads. Known by the nickname Hot Lips, she was written as a rigid, one-dimensional caricature of military authority and female repression. But Loretta saw something more in Margaret, potential that went far beyond the page. Rather than accepting the limitations of the role, Swit pushed back. She held conversations with producers, lobbied for better dialogue, and frequently worked with the writers to explore emotional depth and narrative substance. Loretta made it clear she wasn't interested in being a prop for someone else's punchline. She wanted Margaret Houlihan to be fully human, complicated, competent, vulnerable, and strong. And she succeeded. Over the course of the series, Margaret transformed into a richly developed character, earning the respect not only of the fictional doctors around her but also of viewers nationwide. She was no longer Hot Lips. She was Margaret. As Alan Alda, who played Hawkeye Pierce, later said, "We celebrated the day they stopped calling her Hot Lips and just called her Margaret." Across all 11 seasons of MASH*, Loretta Swit remained a foundational presence. Alongside Alan Alda, she was one of only 2 actors to appear from the series' very first episode in 1972 to its emotional finale in 1983. Her performances in standout episodes such as Hot Lips and Empty Arms, Margaret's Engagement, and The Nurses not only captured the complexity of military life but also highlighted the inner journey of a woman striving to maintain her integrity and compassion in a chaotic world. For her efforts, Swit was widely recognized. She earned 10 Emmy nominations, winning twice, along with Golden Globe nods and the People's Choice Award for Favorite Female TV Performer. Behind the scenes. But the acclaim didn't shield her from the challenges behind the scenes. While the show enjoyed historic success on screen, the off-screen environment was often tense. As Alan Alda and Wayne Rogers gradually took on more creative control, writing, directing, and eventually producing, some cast members felt their roles were diminished. Wayne Rogers, who played Trapper John, grew frustrated as the ensemble structure gave way to a more Alda-centered narrative by season 3. Feeling overshadowed and creatively boxed in, Rogers made the difficult choice to leave the show. McLean Stevenson, beloved as Colonel Henry Blake, also departed around the same time. His exit shocked audiences, especially when the show chose to kill off his character in a plane crash, a decision that underscored the very real risks faced by military personnel but also reflected the turbulence among the cast. Larry Linville, the man behind the pompous and petty Frank Burns, exited after 5 seasons, stating he had done all he could with a character that never seemed to grow. Similarly, Gary Burghoff, who played the soft-spoken and innocent Radar O'Reilly, left during season 8. The pressures of playing a youthful character in his 40s, combined with mounting tension on set, led to his departure. Through it all, Loretta Swit stayed. She served as a quiet force of stability, often playing mediator when conflicts arose. She admitted in later interviews that it wasn't always easy being the only major female cast member in a male-dominated environment. Still, she chose loyalty over ease, even when denied the lead role in Cagney and Lacey, a project she had championed and a part she had earned. Swit honored her contract with MASH*, sacrificing personal advancement for professional integrity. But her loyalty was never silent. Her final truth. In her final interviews before her passing, Loretta Swit opened up about the emotional labor she carried behind the camera. She spoke candidly about the early years when Margaret was portrayed as a punchline, and how she fought to reshape that narrative. She acknowledged that the exits of Wayne Rogers, McLean Stevenson, Larry Linville, and Gary Burghoff weren't just about contracts, they were about deeper frustrations, ego clashes, burnout, and a lack of creative fulfillment. And through it all, Swit didn't just survive, she thrived. She evolved. Her character grounded the series and brought a grace and dignity that left an indelible mark on television history. In a show often praised for its humanity, it was Loretta who, quietly, fiercely, and brilliantly, brought so much of that humanity to life. Friendship. Her bond with Alan Alda became one of the most quietly powerful and cherished relationships in the history of American television. On screen, their characters, Margaret Houlihan and Hawkeye Pierce, began as rivals. They clashed constantly in the early seasons of MASH*, their scenes filled with biting sarcasm and sharp dialogue. But as the series evolved and took on deeper emotional tones, so too did their characters' relationship. The animosity softened into mutual respect, then into moments of genuine connection. Their brief kiss in the final episode left millions of fans wondering. Was there something more? Off-screen, the chemistry between Swit and Alda was just as authentic, but rooted not in romance,